We go to Sophie. Sophie, 21, Greece. X was 22. Thank you for a good information to begin with, because it's important for me to know what your ex, how old your ex was. Sophie, 21, from Greece, says, X was 22. We stopped talking in the end of November and haven't talked since. What bothers me is that I didn't feel I got any closure because it was sudden. Sophia, there is a video I have on my channel called Closure. I think there are 3 or 4 of them, but one of them is the one that is actually called Closure. Watch that one, and it'll give you the answer in that for that part of your question. It says, what bothers me is that I didn't feel I got any closure because it was so sudden. Yeah. Why do you need closure? Closure for what? Are you not sure of yourself? Are you not confident who you are? You need somebody else to tell you that you're a good girl, but I just didn't feel it anymore. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you, it's me. There is nothing wrong with you of any sort if somebody leaves you. Nobody, whether the girl leaves the guy leaves the girl. There is nothing wrong with the other side. Unless one of you have been abusive, that is not acceptable. Physically, mentally, emotionally, if any of you have been abusive, well, that's not acceptable. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about both of you being cordial, decent, and regular problems. So when both of you are just as good as you've ever been, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just a matter of you guys didn't try to connect on consciousness level. All your connections were based on fun, things to do, sex, intimacy, hug, smile. That was the depth of it. So you never really got to know each other. And now you wonder why it didn't work. Why was it sudden? It's always sudden. It's always sudden. You just don't get to hear about it until it comes to action. But it's always sudden. Eventually, one of you at one time decides, that's not working for me. Now, from the time you figure that out to the time that you express it and communicate it to the other side, it's a time passing, but it's already happened. So the point here is that you guys didn't even know each other. So you shouldn't wonder why it broke up, why it's sudden or not. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you guys never connected on deeper level, on consciousness level. You don't even know each other. You know, you have an idea of the guy in your head. You have created an image of the guy in your head about the guy. And he has created an image of you, about you, in his mind. These two images, how you see each other, plus how you see yourself. You have an image of yourself, of you in your mind. And you have an image of the boyfriend, of him in your mind. He has an image of himself. He sees himself in a certain way in his mind. And he has an image of you, about you, in his mind. These images, the two images of you, of him and his, and of you, image of you in him and the image of him in you, these two images are having a relationship. And because there's no depth, it is just based on images and how you guys look and how you guys, spend time with each other. That's it, pretty much. Bunch of mechanical processes. Go here, go there. At that age, you hardly know each other, let alone know, you hardly know yourselves, let alone know each other. And therefore, at that age, it's so limited that it's not going to last. It's going to tear apart anyhow. Because it's based on things that are not stable, that are not known. They're being developed. They haven't shaped well yet. I don't know what example, like maybe it's like making a cheese. When the cheese hasn't gotten hard yet, hasn't cured yet, every time you want to, it's just like a, fluid. It falls apart because it hasn't really found itself, grasped it. It hasn't cured. It hasn't become what it's supposed to become to then have a certain kind of a proper expression of itself. That's the best I could do right now. So the same thing, you guys don't know enough about yourselves, let alone each other, so therefore it falls apart because the images are having a relationship, not you two. You never got to know each other because knowing each other is about knowing each other's consciousness, knowing each other's fears, desires, to know what desire is, how is it born, or does it come together, about each other's ego. Is a 22-year-old guy has got ego coming out of his, nose, and you have certain ego yourself. Everybody does, and you don't know even what they are. You think you're being controlled by your ego, or you got to follow your ego. That's the direction you take in dealing with your partner, ego-driven or desire-driven, pleasure-driven. You have no idea about the effect of your consciousness on you and how you use that in negotiating with his consciousness and vice versa. So obviously falls apart. So what closure do you need? Closure for what? Even if you get a closure, what does that mean? You got to focus on life. That understand that this was a relationship. Okay, it's like a warm-up game. I'm learning it. I'm practicing it until I become really good at it. Like we spoke about it other times, like any sports. You train, you practice. Gymnastics, soccer, tennis. You train. It's warm-up games. These are not tournament games, real games. That's what they are. So win or lose, closure or not, doesn't matter because it was just a way for you to get to know this system and how to deal with the emotions that comes from it if it doesn't work out or if it does work out, to learn those emotions. These are all warm-up games. None of them are serious. You've got no business to actually expect this relationship of a 22-year-old or 21-year-old girl actually goes anywhere deep. It goes maybe for 6 months or a year, I don't know, 2 years maybe, and then it breaks up because it does, because you're developing, you're growing, you're learning about yourself. As you learn about yourself, you learn your expectations are going to be changing because you grow, you develop your expectations, your understanding of yourself and understanding what you expect from your partner will also develop and grow and change. So naturally it's going to break off. That's the closure you need. There's nothing wrong with you. That's the nature of things. That's okay. That's natural. But look at the closure. And you don't need closure. What closure? If the guy didn't like you or you didn't like him or he wanted somebody else or you wanted somebody else, it doesn't take anything off of you. The guy choosing somebody else does not diminish you of any kind. Just means that his understanding or expectations of that at this level was not up to the point to understand and appreciate your qualities. It doesn't take away from your qualities. It actually tells you that the guy couldn't qualify to see a diamond. If somebody goes to a jewelry store, they put a diamond and cubic zirconium and a crystal glass in front of him, and she or he chooses the crystal, suddenly because of this choice that he didn't choose the diamond, diamond's value doesn't come down and become devaluated. Still a diamond, still has its own value. Just the guy didn't know any better to understand that this is a cubic zirconia or this is a crystal piece. That was his level and limit of understanding and expectations. He has no more knowledge or qualification or expectation or taste to know and choose and appreciate the diamond. So always think of yourself as the diamond that some idiot who was an expert to know what jewelry is like chose a crystal glass or a cubic zirconium because he doesn't know any better. He doesn't have the capacity to appreciate you. So what closure? But watch that video, closure, maybe that will be something helpful to you. Sophia. All right.